122 Democrats and more than 200 Republicans, including our next guest, voted to censure Rashida Tlaib. Congressman Andy Biggs joins us now. Congressman, it didn't work last week. People were determined to do it this week. Why does this matter? Why is this more than symbolism?
Well, because when you have a member of the United States House of Representatives that effectively is advocating for the genocide of the Israeli state, everybody in that state, not only is she advocating a crime against humanity, she's advocating a violation of international law. She's advocating a violation of just basic human rights. And for her to stand and say that it's excusable, she's not meaning that, when she's using a very well-known phrase that advocates for genocide and is basically facilitating and providing kind of comfort and aid to an enemy of the Israeli people who are our ally.
And by the way, can we also point out she is saying vile things about the president from her own party? Can we also point out how there's no contrition there at all? Ilhan Omar was screaming. Congressman Bowman, Mr. I pulled a fire alarm for no apparent reason, was accusing basically everyone there for being racist. So at the end of this, are you worried that you're giving fuel to her fire?
No, I don't think so. I think the American people are very smart. They understand what's going on. And I think, like me, they're stunned that we actually have a pro-Hamas, pro-genocidal terrorist organization that is supported by a small minority of American people that are very vociferous. But I think the American people understand what's going on. And I think they're probably as repelled by it as I am.
I wish there were more. I'm seeing a lot of people, 100,000 in Washington. I'm seeing thousands here last night. They're going to the defense contractors' headquarters today. It's just disturbing. I also want to talk about some other important things happening behind closed doors, and that's Special Counsel David Weiss from Delaware went behind closed doors to talk before the Judiciary Committee. What could you tell us he relayed to you? Because it's either he's lying or the whistleblowers are lying about what ability he had to investigate something that should have been easy, but it's taken him over 5 years on Hunter Biden's hijinks.
Well, Brian, the whistleblowers are not lying. They're telling the truth. And what we saw from David Weiss was obfuscation, dodging, ducking, and weaving. He only would agree to talk about his authority, and even that he was trying to kind of feather that out a little bit so he wouldn't tell you exactly. He just kept saying he felt he had the authority, but we never really got to. I asked him, who gave you the authority and when and how, but and it just never really materialized. But what he did is on every question of substance, he said, well, like an ongoing investigation, that was some kind of prerogative that we can't talk about. The reality, Brian, is he did not want to answer these questions, but it actually, in so doing, kind of confirms what we suspect, and that is his relationship with the Biden family. Don't forget, he got special treatment from the Delaware senators to get reappointed. He was the only one of the Trump appointees that was not dismissed by Biden. Why was that? So there's a conflict of interest there, in my opinion, but also he doesn't want to tell us the truth, doesn't want to get to the bottom of it. He kept saying he's going to put it in his report. When's that report going to be out? When is that report going to be out?
After the election. 40 FBI investigations that were stunted, suspicious activity reports that weren't followed through, accusations that they were told not to investigate the father. David Weiss knows the answer to that, and he chose not to give it to you guys. Congressman Andy Biggs, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.